Hi, friends. It's Sheryl from Tutoring with Sheryl, and I do not have my camera on today because I am recently back from vacation. I tutored this morning and I did some lawn work this afternoon, and I thought, my hair's up and I'm looking a little ragtag today. So I think I'm just going to talk and you can watch my little circle glow. Have fun with that. So, anyway, if you are new to the Tutoring with Cheryl's podcast, I want to welcome you, and I'm just so honored that you found me. It's exciting to know that I have people who are listening to me and wanting to learn from me. And also, just to give you just a brief background in case you are a first time listener, that I am a veteran teacher who retired from the classroom after over 30 years. And now I tutor, and it's my full time job. Now, I realize that I might not actually be teaching 40 hours a week, but this is my job. And I do put, over 30, maybe 40 hours, many weeks, yeah, most of the time, I guess. Um, and what I'm doing behind the scenes, most people don't see. And one of those things would be to podcast. So giving people value, having them learn about me and learn from me, sharing games and activities that you can do with your kids. It's all really important to me. But I'm actually going to be talking today about taking a break from tutoring and why that could actually be really helpful for you, your family, your child, and for the tutor. Now, I am not certainly not suggesting that you take a break and not come back to tutoring if unless your goal has been met, because we all want to have a goal for our child. And if your goal was for your child to learn double digit long division, and they've got it, and you think that now all their problems in math have been solved, they just need a little help and the goal's met, then by all means be done. But if your child just struggles on a daily basis with math, you wouldn't want to say, oh, we're going to take the summer off and then expect to come back in the fall and pick up right where you left off, because there is a real thing called learning loss. So, my goal today is to kind of give you some reasons why it would be important to take a break, but to minimize that break, and why it would be important for both your child, the parents, and the tutor. Now, why would I be picking this for my topic? I have so many people who say, where do you come up with these ideas? Well, it's just basically from my life experiences, what's going on in my life that week. And then that's what I talk about. So, since I just came back from an amazing vacation where I got to travel with my youngest daughter, she's 20. We traveled out to see my oldest daughter, my oldest child, and her spouse and our granddaughter out to Chicago. And while mom and dad went off on a little vacation, we stayed and we played and we had lots of fun with my granddaughter. That's why I'm talking about it, because I feel so rejuvenated and ready to get back at it with the kids, and to help keep the learning going, because I think it's really important that we don't stop, especially if we have a student who's struggling. We don't want to just say, oh, it's summertime, you can take the whole summer off. That's like taking yourself off of a diet for the summer and thinking that you're going to weigh the exact same amount if you're eating chips and ice cream and junk all summer and expecting to get on the scale, let's say in September, and thinking the number's not going to budge. That's not really what's going to happen. And so if we take too long of a break from the learning for our children, the same thing will happen with their learning. It's not going to expand necessarily. It's going to be deflated, and they're going to struggle. And, it's just not good to take extended breaks, but short breaks are definitely a good idea. And of course, you'd want to talk to your tutor about that. I've already got people who are letting me know that they don't want to work with me the week of July 4th. Hey, that's great. Not a problem. I'm going to have family here. So that just means more time with my family. And so if, that's you and you want to use that holiday to go camp or go take your vacation, take the vacation. Family time is so important. So, my talk today is based on the benefits of taking a break from tutoring. We're going to talk about what it does for the kids, what it does for the parents, and what it does for the tutor. Okay, so first of all, for the kids, I've got 4 things that I thought it could really help your child with. Number 1, rest and relaxation is always super important, because tutoring for many kids is mentally and emotionally demanding for children, especially when they're juggling multiple subjects or struggling with a certain concept that just really is hard for them. Like I've got several kids who just really struggle with either math or they're just really struggling in reading. And, a couple days away, 2 or 3 days off and then back on again, that's a good thing. Maybe you've already got that break worked into the natural schedule that you're on, but maybe you've been working with the tutor, let's say, since last August, and now we're in June and school's done, and you want to take a 2 week vacation. I think you should do that. I do not think that you should take the entire summer off because that child needs more intensive support. So, but taking that off is going to allow rest and relaxation. They're going to kind of get revved up and ready to go. During that break, your child can pursue other interests. Maybe they want to go to summer camp. Maybe there's a 10-day summer camp or 5-day summer camp that they want to go to. They should go to that because life isn't just about having a tutor work with them. It's about making new friends and the socialization. Those are all super important. That's actually one of my next one was social interactions. I'm having a social interaction with your child, but I'm an adult and they're a child. So important to build in that bonding time with friends. So let's say your child is going to go to state soccer or state wrestling or state volleyball, basketball, softball, baseball, whatever sport they happen to be in, and you're going to be gone for a whole week. Well, you know what? That's the time to focus on that sport, not on the tutoring. But if you're doing that every weekend and you're thinking, oh, next week we'll get to it, next week we'll come back, next week we'll come back, and you never come back, you're going to be like that diet idea of, oh, I'll get to it later. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So really look at your schedule. You have to pick and choose what you're going to do, right? Just like everybody else in the world. And but those social interactions are super important. Like I have a conflict next week on Tuesday. Our youngest daughter's going to take a trip to Spain, and I want to take her to the airport. I just, that's just something moms want to do. And my parents have been so kind to move their times or cancel because it won't work for them. So I've got one family who wanted to work with me at 4. Well, all of them wanted to work at 4 o'clock. That didn't work. So I took them, first come, first serve. And the 4 o'clock was already filled and things kept getting pushed further and further. And this child is actually one of my new students. They're being so accommodating to me. And it just doesn't work for us to meet on Tuesday because she's got softball that night. That's not a problem. We'll meet the next day. It's not a big deal. I think having the flexibility and the mindset that there are going to be things that come up. And I'm going to tell you right now that the tutor is going to work really hard to fit you into their schedule. They might request different times. Like I actually requested, can I please have morning hours? Live on a farm. Our farm takes a lot of extra work. Working evenings all the time doesn't always work for our family. So I really wanted to batch my instruction in the morning when things are typically wet and I can't really get outside and mow right away, so that later on in the day when things are dry, I can really get out there and get at it. So my families have been so supportive and I just appreciate that. And then on the other hand, if they need to make a change, I try to be as flexible as I can because they're kids. You're a family. Stuff happens and it's okay. The last benefit from taking a break from tutoring is independent learning. So if your tutor provides something like what I do, I have an education.com account, and with that I can put X number of kids on the BrainZ app, which is still run online. That would be the time to have your child dive into that and explore it. I just had a student who signed up with me a couple weeks ago. We weren't going to start until June 1st. And his mom has had him working on that. He's almost all the way done with what I've already signed him and ready for us to go, okay, you're ready for the next level. And I just think it's amazing. I mean, that independent learning has just been really important to them. So bravo, you know who you are. All right. So that's for the kids. Those are the benefits. The benefits for parents. It allows for time for your family to do something during that set time other than work with the tutor. Some people drive to a center to meet with a tutor. Some people drive to the tutor's home. Sometimes the tutor comes to your home, and sometimes it's online. For me, it's online unless you're going to come drive to me. Okay. So if you're going to drive to me, you're not leaving. You're going to sit and listen to that lesson because I'm not going to have your child at my house unsupervised without their parent. There's no way that's happening. So you're stuck at my farm while we're doing the lesson, which is completely fine. I don't mind an audience. I think it's great. Parents can learn right along with me. But if you were to take a 2 week break, that might allow you time to go on a vacation or do take your kids fishing during that time, or maybe you need to go shopping for school. You need to go get their school outfits, or maybe they need to go to their dentist appointments or their doctor's appointments or get their eyes checked. Whatever that happens to be, you can then take that time to go do that. The second thing is purely a financial thing. It gives your pocketbook a break where maybe it's not, the money isn't going to the tutor, but it's going to swimming lessons for that week because your child is just going to do a 1 week swimming camp or something like that. So you can funnel that money someplace else. And the third benefit for parents is it allows you, the parents, to be in charge of the learning. So if you're not going to have your child working with a professional, what are you going to have them doing? Are you just going to say, we're going to take a complete mental break? Or are you going to say, every day for 10 minutes, you're going to read a book? Or every day for 10 minutes, we're going to play a game and we're going to practice those math facts. Don't stop the learning. Just take maybe a different approach. You're still taking a break. You're not working with that tutor one-on-one, but you're still fostering the learning. So important to keep that learning going. The last person I want to talk about is me, the tutor. I work really hard to meet the needs of my students. And I don't know, unless you're in education or unless you're a tutor, I don't think parents oftentimes realize the amount of work that it takes to set a lesson up. Because the tutor needs to, well, I hope you already have a curriculum set, but if you don't, you're looking for an activity that's going to meet the needs of your student. You're making sure that you've got the links ready, or you've got the documents ready, or you've read the directions so that the lesson can run smoothly, or you're doing some research on best practices. So really, to be really honest, I'm taking 20 minutes to 40 minutes per child per week to kind of get things ready to go for the next week. That's pretty typical for me because I do so many different things during their lessons. So it allows me time to kind of get ready to plan for the students. It allows me time with my family and friends when my parents take the time off. It allows me time to create space to reflect and say, this is working well, this isn't working well. And it provides me time to look at new curriculum. Like maybe I've been using something and I'm just like, this is not working. It allows me to do a deep dive, or it allows me time to do some collaboration with other professionals, other teachers or other tutors. And I always learn something from somebody else. So there are benefits to taking a break. But again, I want to caution you, too much time away off of a schedule, especially with a student who really needs the support, shouldn't really probably be any more than 2 weeks if you really want to see continued growth. So just keep that in mind when you're making your appointments with your new tutor. And they're like, well, I'm going to take all summer off. You might be going, I really can't have all summer off, because then that tutor maybe isn't super into doing the job. They just maybe want a part-time job. Really find somebody who can really support your family the way that you need to be supported. Okay, I think I've covered everything. Oh yeah, I know, the one other thing I was going to tell you is, if you do want to take time off, which is totally a parent's prerogative, because I do have some families that said, no, they're not going to tutor with me this summer because I really am trying only to work in the morning. And if that's not going to work and you want to take the summer off, and the tutor says, okay, I'll hold your spot if you pay X number of dollars, honor the tutor and pay the $50, $60, $100, whatever they're asking to hold your spot because they're going to credit your account. This is a good faith um, message that you're sending to them that you really are going to come back because they are going to limit their spots based on their availability. And if you don't follow their directions, you're risking not having a spot in the fall, which is completely fine. If you want to ignore that and you're like, not going to worry about it. She'll have time for me. They might not have time for you, or they might not want to work at that time in the fall. And then you're left to work later in the evening because they've got everything else filled out. So just do yourself a favor and you don't if it's working for you and the tutor and you want to continue services, you're taking a longer period than maybe what they expect and they're asking for monetary um, uh, payment to hold that spot. You know that you're going to get credited that much money back in the fall. You have nothing to risk, right? It's like your insurance that you're going to have that spot in the fall. So really consider that if that's the request. Otherwise, you're going to have to start all over. You're going to have to go and find somebody who can and wants to work with your child, and that whole relationship of trust and knowledge that all has to be replaced. So that's just my little talk for today. Take a break, don't go too long, and if the tutor asks for some sort of a down payment to hold your spot, make sure that you do that. Okay, well, as always, I enjoy our talks. I don't have anybody scheduled to be a guest until later on this summer. And at that point, I'm going to have some return guests, and we're going to be talking about what are we doing to get ready for the fall. I am so excited. I'm working with my new learners. I have my groups are starting this week. I'm excited to meet with all of those kiddos. As you've been listening to me, I've had this banner running across the bottom. Make sure that you stop in and look at my website. If you're looking at this on what do I want to say? If you're looking at this on YouTube, I'm trying to show this one. You can also listen to this on Spotify. So you can go to Spotify and find this content. And if you want to get a hold of me, this is my email. If you're just going to send me a bunch of junk, I'm going to block you. So don't be sending me a bunch of junk. But if you have a question about tutoring or tutoring services, you can reach me there. And you can also go to my link tree because on my link tree, you can subscribe and you'll always see all my updates there. So I hope this has been helpful. I enjoy spending time with your child. I enjoy meeting new friends. If you are a tutor and you want to be considered for a chat with me, go ahead and send me an email and we'll line up a time to talk. You guys go out, make it a great day, and keep the learning going.